Hello everyone and welcome to episode 20 of Mathghamhain Morsels. So we're going to skip the normal start at the desk and we're just going to jump straight into the kitchen. Tonight is going to be making from scratch, with the exception of the noodles, lasagna. So the work that I already have done is my 2 cast irons are already nice and preheated, and my pot of water is already going. It should be back up to temperature. I had to add a little bit more liquid to it. So we're going to start off by browning our ground beef, which let me just get that out and into my square cast iron. We're going to want to get a bit of coloration on that, so I won't be moving it around right away. So I also have this second cast iron. That's going to be the one that we're actually going to make the sauce for the lasagna in. And as I said, this is going to be from scratch. So we're going to start off with some olive oil in that. It's already preheated, should be nice and hot, so I might have to move it quick. Put a good bit of olive oil in. And then in that, right away, we'll go onion. And I did about 2 small onions, because I have fairly small ones today. 1 medium, 1 to 1.5 medium, well, not quite 1.5. 1 medium, maybe 1 large, should do more than enough onion for you. Mine were just rather tiny today, so I have my onion in. And those we just want to start mixing around and let them get translucent. We don't want them to get any sort of coloration on them. Just to go translucent. That handle is very hot at the moment. So this is going to be a insanely simple lasagna because it's onion, beef, Roma tomatoes. I have about 6 Roma tomatoes that I just diced up. Then just some celery. About let's say teaspoon of oregano. I threw in a bit of basil and about the same amount, or about a teaspoon of thyme. Then I have, because I absolutely love garlic, about 2 heaped about 2 heaped tablespoons of garlic. I'm also going to add in a little bit of black garlic because you guys know me, I absolutely love the flavor profile of black garlic. So these has a bit of color on that side, just going to flip it over. We'll be breaking it up here in a moment. But like I said, I want to get a little bit of color on it tonight rather than just letting it stay fairly anemic looking. So just keep your onions moving around every so often. And let them get nice and translucent. The onions will take maybe about 5 minutes or so. And then once the onions are good, we're going to be adding the tomatoes in and letting that cook down. Let's double check that it's tomatoes next. Oh, it's onions and celery, so we add in the celery. As I said, this is my mother's quick and simple lasagna that I grew up on, so I will every now and then be stepping away to double check the recipe that she sent me. To make sure that I'm doing it the same way that I grew up on. And I did about 3 good-sized stalks of celery. And you just want the celery to get a little bit tender and the onion to get translucent. The beef should be good to start breaking up. So, as we've done in a bunch of other recipes, especially in the Simple Comfort series, just mash up your ground beef. And let it get all over the bottom of your pan. So, this is again one of those dishes that I grew up on when I was living at home, and it's a classic when the family gets together for holidays. Normally my brother will request that lasagna be made for one of the days that he's home. And again, it's really easy to scale up because it's ground beef, onion, celery, tomatoes, garlics and herbs, and noodles, or pasta rather. Which, all of that's nice and cheap. The pasta water was fairly heavily salted. Not quite up to as salty as seawater, but not terribly far off. And for that I just used some already ground pink and lead. I think this is actually. Just realized that my dishwasher is probably visible in the back of the camera. Oh, and it wasn't. So, keep the ground beef moving, adjust the temperature every so often. Want it to get cooked through. The onion and celery also needs to be tossed around every so often. This is again my slower burner, so I'm going to turn it up higher. But this is already starting to smell absolutely delicious. The beef in the one pan and the onion just going translucent, celery just starting to soften. Set up my grease drain because I will need to do that with this beef. I'm again using that lovely 80-20 that I normally do because that gives a lot of flavor. But until the beef is done and the celery and onions good, there's not lasagna recipe that your family used to make when you were younger? That your mother made for you or your grandmother made for you? Let me know. Let me know what you guys threw into it. Oh, I forgot. This one also, of course, includes several cheeses. It has a ricotta. I'm using just a blend of 6 cheeses: mozzarella, provolone, Asiago, Parmesan, Romano, and I can't remember what the 6th one is. I'm not seeing it right away, but just a 6 Italian cheese blend, and then of course ricotta, because it's not really a lasagna without ricotta. The ground beef is looking good. I'm going to try to escape. The onions softened up. A little bit of its spikes going. But it's definitely not starting to caramelize. So now then, I'm going to throw in my Roma tomatoes. Like I said, it's got 6 Roma tomatoes, diced up all nice and pretty. And those are just going to get mixed in all the way. And we're going to let this continue to cook. I'll be turning up the temperature a little bit higher. Some bits that try to escape. Turn that up higher. Like I said, already this is starting to smell absolutely delicious. And what I might do just to speed things up a little bit, because this ground beef is already looking beautiful, I'm going to strain off the ground beef, have it sit to the side for a little bit, and I'm going to separate my onion and celery and tomato mixture between the 2 pans just to make it cook a little bit faster. But also this will be a good way of getting just that little bit of extra beefy flavor, because there's still going to be some of that beef fat in the bottom. So I'm going to let these cook for a little bit, adjusting the heat every so often just to make sure that nothing cooks past the point that I want it to. Turn that one down and this one up. Okay. There we go, that's what comes up nicely. So you're just making sure that the tomato gets cooked through as well. this down. We'll probably be bouncing back and forth between these two pans. My mother would use a full Dutch oven. I didn't feel like pulling out my big Dutch oven, so I'm using two smaller pans. But I'm perfectly fine with a little bit of added work swapping between the two. And you would prefer just use one big pan, a good sized Dutch oven to be able to fit everything that you're doing. So, into this mixture goes your garlic. Ah, lovely. Lovely garlic. Get as much of that in as I can. And this, you just want to cook a little bit. You don't want to get coloration on the garlic any either, just like the onions. You don't want it to caramelize. You just want it to be cooked and let all those flavors blend. Bits of tomato escaped. And once the garlic is nice and incorporated, which will not take long at all, I'm going to add in the herbs. And then some tomato paste. And that will be the sauce for the lasagna. Oh man, this smells amazing. That pot of water is boiling in back. So let me get my lasagna sheets. I always have a hard time guesstimating how much, or how many, rather, of the lasagna sheets I actually need. So I have no doubt that I'm going to make too many, but I can find a use for them. Because I think I also made more sauce than I'll be able to fit. So just going to throw my lasagna sheets into my nice big pot of boiling water. Make sure that they get fully submerged. And I'll be fiddling with those, trying to make sure that they don't stick out. And you aren't going to cook them all the way through because you're going to be throwing this into the oven to finish baking up, so you don't need them cooked all the way through. You just need them pliable so they won't be in there for terribly long. So we take them out partway through finishing up the sauce. Okay, so now's a good time to add my herbs. And like I said, it's a little bit of basil, probably less than a teaspoon of basil, about a teaspoon of oregano, and about a teaspoon of thyme going into that. I can already smell them blending with the other flavors in the very rough sauce right now, but give it time, give it time. Just going to let that keep on bubbling away, let my flavors marry a bit more. Stir around my noodles, make sure that they aren't getting glued together as they boil. Okay, beef has been sitting off to the side, drained off. We're going to throw that in here, let those flavors start to blend together. And again, the smells of this are fantastic. This one's probably a bit less pleasing when it comes to the audio compared to yesterday's, because that bacon frying, I listened back as I was editing things up, making sure that it was nice and clean. Ooh, that bacon frying was coming through nice and clear. Sounded amazing. I'm going to swap over to the better burner after. Oh. Things along. See how the noodles are doing. They're softer, but they aren't quite as pliable as I need them. So that's going rather well. I'm going to grab my tomato paste, and I'm going to start adding some tomato paste, as well as I'm going to come back with some black garlic, throw in some black garlic. Okay, so I'm back with black garlic first. I'm going to add a nice amount of that. I absolutely love this stuff. That's the one change that I'm making to my mother's lasagna recipe. Just an added bit of garlic. Lovely umami taste of the black garlic. And then I'm going to add in some tomato paste. Not quite going to add the full tube, but going to add a nice healthy amount. If you have a small can, will be about a small can, a little bit less. So I'm talking one of the really small cans, like a 6 ounce can or so. Mix in, I'll add in some more. I'm getting a taste here in a moment. Seeing what it needs, but I'm going to give it a bit of time just to marry together a little. Let's check the noodles. The noodles are looking very pliable. Yep. Noodles seem good. Fat draining can out of my sink. Get the colander out. Get this off. Back where let it slip out of my hand a little bit. Okay. Now then let's stir that up again. That's pretty good. I think it needs just a little bit more of this. And then maybe just splash of acid, I think. Sometimes you need to add a little bit of sugar. Sometimes you need to add just a little bit of acid. Which is why you always want to taste it. If you just do it straight from the recipe, then if it says to add a little bit of acid in the recipe, and it needs sugar rather than acid, you'll end up with it too acidic. It needs a little bit of sugar and it says to add acid, then you'll end up with it being just a bit too acidic. So what I'm going to do, this one needs a little bit of acid. Let's see what sort of vinegar do I want to toss in. I'll just splash in a little bit of this right there. There we go. Didn't add all that much, just a little dousing all around. Mix that in. Give it a moment to marry together again. And then I'll give it another taste to see if that balances things out. As I've said with everything else, taste it at every point in the process. You want to season throughout. Season throughout, it comes out much better than if you try to season all in one go at the end. Okay. That's good. Much better. So, I'll join you guys at my desk here in a moment, and I'll show you how I'm going to be building my lasagna. Okay, and here we are at my desk. So, of course, these are the lasagna sheets, which are nice and pliable. Still not done, which is how you want them because they're going to be thrown in the oven to roast. So in this bowl, I have about 14 to 16 ounces of ricotta. To that, I'm going to add some of my cheese. I'm going to add a little bit more because that bag just ran out. So, to the, like I said, about 14 to 16 ounces of ricotta, you're going to be adding about a cup or so of the cheese. I need a little bit more because these bags contain about 2 cups, and this one does not have quite 2 cups left in it. So, I'm using a blend of cheeses. You can use just straight Parmesan. You can use the blend as I am. But mix that into your ricotta. And you want that well incorporated into your ricotta. And while you're mixing that in, you can also mix in some parsley. So you'll either want to use fresh parsley, or I'm using lightly dried parsley. Both of those work, and for that you want to put in about a heaped teaspoon or so. If you're using dry, you'll use less, because dry you get more bang, but it doesn't taste as fresh, as lively. So get that in, mix it in, get it incorporated throughout. You want it to not have a spot where you're looking at that has noticeably less herbs or noticeably less cheese in it. So give it a good, thorough mix. And that looks lovely to me. So, now then, how do we go about building this lasagna? Well, it'll start off easy. So I have a baking sheet right here, just a nice Pyrex baking dish. First thing that is going to go into this is some of that sauce. That sauce is still in a very hot pan, so I left it on the stovetop. Let me go grab that and get a ladle to ladle out some of the sauce. This wooden cutting board should be able to take the heat now. So, let me make sure that you guys can see this well. Set that there, set that there, and this here. So get some of your sauce, and you want to coat the bottom of your tray with some of that sauce. You don't want it to be a thick coating, but you want the bottom completely covered. That looks good. Then you'll start in with your first few bits of lasagna sheet. I'm just going to tear it to fit roughly the size of the bottom of this. Make sure that it goes all the way there. I did not want to go quite as far over. There we go. Because it won't quite fit my baking dish how long the noodles come out, or the pasta comes out. So I'm tearing them to fit, And as you can see, I'm overlapping them a bit, which creates a nice little barrier. And one more full noodle should work. And then you're going to want the ricotta cheese mixture. You don't want a really thick layer of it, but this stuff does get kind of thick, so get your hands in there to thin it out. And just a little bit more at a go until you have it pretty much covered in completely. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is kind of like back in the chili chips and cheese comfort food episode, where to me the cheese layer is probably the most important layer. And if I need a bit more of my ricotta mixture, I have plenty of ricotta to whip up some more of it. But there's a good layer. Now then, you start again with the sauce. And you want it decent layer. Doesn't have to be really thick layer of sauce, but that's entirely up to you how thick you want each of the layers. If you like cheese like me, make your cheese layer a little bit thicker. If you like the sauce more, then make your sauce layer a little bit thicker. So there we go. And now then, cheese mixture, and oh, I forgot a small step. I forgot some mozzarella in that layer. So I'm going to add mozzarella late. You should add mozzarella before you add the layer of sauce. I have two different presentations of mozzarella that I'm going to be using. One is just little mozzarella balls, so those are easy to quickly scatter and pretend like I didn't just go out of order with my lasagna make. Oh, made a mistake, but not too bad. Caught it before I threw on the noodles, right? And again, this is however thick you want it. You can do thin cut mozzarella, you can do thicker layer of mozzarella, but you definitely need that layer of mozzarella goodness. So, toss that on. I'm giving a little bit of space between my little balls of mozzarella, just because these are going to melt and spread out a bit. There we go, that should be good for right now. Now then, another layer of noodles, or another layer of pasta. Some people get really particular if you say noodles or if you say pasta. I don't care, as you can tell by my swapping back and forth between the two. And like I said, I made way too much of the pasta, but that just means I can make another tray of this if I want. Or I can make some rolled lasagna. So, again, you want to overlap your noodles, your pasta. Give it a nice barrier between your layer of cheese and sauce and your next layer of cheese and sauce. So, go back for ricotta, and I won't be able to fit very much more in on top of this, so it's probably going to be another layer of ricotta, another layer of mozzarella, and then another layer of sauce, and that's probably going to be about it, with some more mozzarella, a bit more ricotta thrown on top, just for good measure. But that's good because I'm running out of ricotta a little bit. Like I said, I tend to do a fairly thick layer. So, the thinner the layer, the more layers you can fit in and the more layers you can do before you run out of your ricotta mixture. But where's the fun in being frugal with cheese? So there's a good ricotta layer. Now then, let's throw in some mozzarella. I might not have to break into the slices of mozzarella that I have. As I said, I have little balls of mozzarella, and I have some slices of mozzarella. But if I can do it with the balls of fresh, that works beautifully. The slices are also fairly fresh, but let's see, just a little bit more in this layer. So that's good. Now then, add one more small layer of sauce. There we go. That'll do for that layer of sauce in my mind. Then add the remainder of my ricotta and mozzarella. But this I'm going to kind of just give little drops of the ricotta mixture. That ricotta mixture is delicious. And then sprinkle on more of my mozzarella. And then this will all go in to a 350-degree oven and bubble away for at least, I'd say, probably the next 18 to 20 minutes. Maybe a bit longer, depending on how much coloration it's taken and how it looks. Make sure that everything's ooey gooey and delicious looking. So I'll move this to my oven, and I will see you guys after it's done. Okay, and here we are back at the work table. So it's really hard to get the right amount of exposure to show the proper color. So let me see if I can angle this and get it to not re-brighten. Nope, doesn't look like it. But I have some nice coloration on the bits of ricotta, cheese, and herb. The mozzarella's all ooey gooey, bubbly goodness all around. And this, much like the enchiladas, are something that it's almost impossible to get a good cut out of. But I'll give it a go just for you guys. See if I can get a nice segment taken out of it. But it's probably just going to try to fall apart as I pull it out. Let me get my plate up. And see if I can get nice scoop. That's going to try to fall apart on that side. Fork in here to try to stabilize that side. Kind of got a nice segment. Not the prettiest. It always kind of slumps a little bit once it comes out of the tray. But let me get the out of the way, and we'll grab the oven mitt so I can move the tray that I just got that out of. Where did I set my oven? There it is. This side. So there's the lasagna. As I said, it never really comes out pretty. It always kind of slumps, but that's part of the charm of lasagna, in my opinion. It smells absolutely amazing. Let's get a little taste off of this side over here. It tastes amazing. It's insanely simple. Really easy to scale up. And one of the primary dishes of my childhood. Especially my brother absolutely loved this. So in my family, we had the tradition of, for your birthday, you got to pick your favorite meal to be dinner that night. So probably about 8 times out of 10, my brother would choose lasagna. So good. And you can see how ooey and gooey and stringy that cheese is. Absolutely delicious. So before I just keep on chowing down on this, so I'm going to get one more bite. Mm. Let me set my fork down, that way I can actually get through the end of the video without constantly taking another bite. This is another classic comfort dish from my childhood. It's absolutely delicious. It's easy. It heats up amazingly well. Unbelievable seconds and thirds and leftovers out of this. Absolutely beautiful dish. So, as I asked earlier, do you have a lasagna story from when you were growing up? Was that one of the normal dishes in your household as well? If so, let me know. Let me know how your family made the lasagna. What did you do different? What did you do the same? And give this dish a go. It's really easy, cheap to make, filling, just stick to your ribs comfort. And of course, I'll leave off with my standard of try new things, go back to old things, change up the flavors a little bit like I did with this, adding that little bit of black garlic, just adds that nice little added bit of umami oomph. But try new things, try different salts, try different spices, try different versions of a spice that you already like. You like garlic, have you had black garlic? Have you had smoked garlic? Have you gone for roasted garlic powder? That's really good as well. Try different foods. Enjoy life. Enjoy food. Enjoy cooking. Good food makes you happy. So, I'll leave you guys off with that. Have a good one all.